Hello, everyone, and welcome to the David Goodman Reality and Truth Show. My name is Vanita Lambert, and I'm the host of this show. I have the honor of bringing fresh and new perspectives on the show every single week. I appreciate the fact that David Goodman left this platform for us. And today, we have a very special guest that's going to give us information on a subject that we really don't know a lot about. Mr. Ricardo Curry II, he's with the American Red Cross and the Sickle Cell Association. I want to welcome you to the show.
Thank you very much.
And thank you so much for bringing this to our community, sure. Especially me personally, because of the experiences I've had, or lack thereof, knowledge I've had about this disease and how important it is to donate blood. So first of all, I would like you to just tell our audience a little bit about yourself.
Okay.
And then we can start talking about your passion, which is the Red Cross and sickle cell.
All right. Well, thank you so much for introducing me so eloquently. My name is Ricardo Curry II, and I'm an account manager at American Red Cross. And I've been with the Red Cross since April of last year. Okay. And I am just passionate about helping people, and that's why I became a part of the American Red Cross. When I found out about our sickle cell initiative, I became very, very excited, being a former pharmaceutical rep where I sold products in certain disease states. We don't sell anything. It's a service orientation in terms of the blood collection division. And my whole role is to go out and educate people about our donor services, to help promote our processes for collecting blood. And with sickle cell, it's very important in the African American and Black community to spread the education process. As you know, our culture is much different than other cultures. And we do donate, but not as prevalent as others. And so my goal and mission, along with the American Red Cross and our initiative, the Sickle Cell Initiative, is to spread that word to the communities, to go out and partner with community services, civic groups, churches, schools, things of that nature, to make people aware. It starts with education and meeting people where they are, to correct the misnomers, the things that are untruths, and actually share the truths about why it's important for us to donate to help people who are suffering from sickle cell disease.
Okay, wonderful. So why is it more important for the Black community to know about sickle cell?
Well, very, very great question. People think that it's just a Black disease, and that's a misnomer. It affects all races and ethnicities all across the world. However, sickle cell is an inherited disease that we actually inherited from our parents. It's either you have inherited one sickle cell trait and a sickle cell trait and a normal blood cell. And together, that gives you sickle cell trait. That's not the disease. Now, because you have the trait, doesn't mean that it will turn into the disease.
Right.
But if you're carrying that, it came from the transatlantic slave trade. So our parents came over here. As you know, Africans populated the world, not just the United States. People think of people just coming to America. People went everywhere.
So you said slave trade. Okay. So it was my understanding, and this could be misinformation because, I just don't know enough about it. Mm-hmm. And that's why, I'm happy that you're here to clear up some of that.
Right.
I was told, or I heard through the grapevine or whatever you want to say, that out of every African American person born, mm-hmm. we all have the sickle cell trait, as you just mentioned, but 1 out of 10 African Americans born may actually get the disease. Is that true, or is that?
That's quite true.
Wow.
Well, that's very true.
Okay, all right. So that's true.
Yep, a different way.
I was hoping you didn't say that, but.
Well, that's.
I was hoping I was wrong.
That's why we're here to clear up that data.
Right.
1 in 365 African American births have the disease. Okay.
The actual disease.
Yes, 1 in 365. One in 13 African American births have the trait. So that's very important to understand. So 1 in 365, mm-hmm. okay? And then compared to Latinos, who are a secondary or subgroup, 1 in 16,500 Latino or Hispanic births compared to African Americans. So it's inherent. You can't get it by touching or having sexual intercourse or things of that nature. You're born with a disease trait, which is a sickle cell trait, and then one normal gene together that gives you the trait. And you carry that. Once again, doesn't mean that that trait is then going to turn into a disease. That's when it's full blown.
Right.
Okay.
So now, how do we know this? Aren't the doctors supposed to inform us? You know this information,
Yeah.
okay?
Yeah.
So obviously, doctors know this information. I had 2 sons. When I had my babies, and I know that, when you have a baby, it's pretty rough. You're out of it the next day.
Right.
And I know that my doctor came around and she blurted out some 8-syllable medical terms for about 3 minutes, and then she was gone. I have no idea what she was talking about, nor at that time did I really understand what she was talking about, and I was not in the mood to have a conversation. I was in pain.
Of course.
So at that time, shouldn't I be informed that this baby I just had could have that trait?
Well, very good question. Once again, sickle cell disease has not been in the forefront like it should have, in my opinion. And I'll just give you some context of data.
Okay.
There's approximately 100,000 people in the United States that suffer from sickle cell disease. It's the most common genetic disease, blood disease in the United States. And what happens is the blood cells are then transformed because of the disease into a hard and sickle or crescent shape. And in essence, what happens is the blood cannot flow freely through the body to then provide blood and oxygen to the organs. As a result of the sickling or the crescent shape that's in the blood and causing this disease to express itself, people are in severe pain, tissue and organ damage, anemia, even strokes. And if not tended to, it can lead to death. So it's very, very important that people understand the prevalence of, once again, 1 in 365 people who are born in African American have sickle cell disease. 1 in 13 babies, to mention go back to your point, babies.
That's
now,
what I heard.
It wasn't until May 2006 that they made it a protocol for African Americans or black babies to then be screened for sickle cell trait.
Okay.
So that way it helps in emergency situations to match with other blood that's necessary to offset the health disparities for children and also to improve infant mortality. So as of 2006, not that long ago, it's a protocol for hospitals to earmark those babies as such and then to screen them for sickle cell trait. So you would think that would have been done forever, but it has not been, only as of recent.
So only as of 2006, I had my babies in the 90s. So now, since I had my babies in the 90s, and this has just been a rule since 2006, when you go for your annual exam as an African American that was born before 2006, is there any protocol for the doctors? You have to tell them what to screen you for. When I go for blood tests, they tell me if my cholesterol is high and stuff like that. So we have to actually ask the doctor to screen for this.
Yes, correct.
Okay,
Yeah,
so I want to stop right there for 1 second. That is so important.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, whoever is watching this, share this information. It is on YouTube. If you're an African American and you're having a baby or had a baby before 2006, or if you were born before 2006, you have to actually tell your doctor what to screen you for.
Correct.
When you go for your blood test.
Correct.
And I'm gonna just go off point for 1 second. I just watched the movie John Q.
Okay.
And that's exactly what this movie was all about. This kid was going to the doctor and he was getting good checkups every single year. He was playing baseball, and any of you have seen John Q, ran into second base, he collapsed.
Yes.
And he had heart failure. And they did not check for that every single year.
Right.
Okay?
It's not part of our health protocol.
No, it
It's not,
isn't. But if you know it, then you can ask for it.
Exactly.
And we won't have to pay anything extra for it, I don't think, because you're getting a blood exam. And even if you do have to pay for it, you're going to want to know about this.
Yes.
That's huge.
Yes, you definitely want to be, because we've screened over 130,000 people in our sickle cell initiative. Our goal is to screen 250,000 African American and black donors through our blood process. And 70% of the people that have already been screened who have been found positive, 70% did not know they had the trait.
See?
So
That's what I'm talking about.
yeah, and I want to back that up with some, I won't go deep into the science, but less than 50% of the donations that we receive are from African Americans, and only 40% of those donations are an optimal match for a person with sickle cell because of the antigens and the complexity of matching an appropriate blood donor with a person suffering from sickle cell. So once again, you think about that, less than 50% of our donations are received from African Americans and Black donors. Only 40% of those are an optimal match. So the number keeps going down, down, and down. If you don't know you have sickle cell, I can't tell you to just come donate blood because of that, but our process from donating blood actually screens for sickle cell as part of the process. There are 3 classifications that people can self-identify to make sure that their blood gets screened as such. The first one is African American, the second one is Black, and the third one is just recently added is multiracial. So I want to real quickly make sure people understand this as well. How you identify is very, very important. And when I say that, you come to the blood drive, it's important that you understand your cultural and ethnic importance to make sure you identify as such. So when somebody says they're African American, they have been born in the United States and are classified as such and likes to use that classification. There are other people of color that were born in other areas, in the Caribbean, Mediterranean, so on and so forth, and they want to be deemed as Black, but they weren't born in the United States. So those are 2 different classifications, so that's why that was added. And then multiracial, we know there are mixed families, people who are born and have parents of different nationalities and backgrounds, but once again, the key is African descent. So we're trying to capture the donors who have African descent. That way it can properly be screened so people can be identified if they have sickle cell trait, and if they are, they will be notified. And that's the importance of making sure you choose one of those 3 selections.
And on that note, we're going to mention this over and over. There is a blood drive.
Yes.
And basically what he's saying, let me simplify it. We need Black people to donate blood because it is a Black disease, not 100%, but the majority. 1 out of every 365
Correct.
Blacks have this disease. And in order to match up the donors, we need Black people to donate more blood. So, having said that, now,
Very well
just
said.
putting it out there.
Very well said.
We're not going to sugarcoat that. So you're going to give us all the information that we need on the blood drives, and then we're going to do this again.
Okay.
Because
Great.
And we want you to share this with everyone that you know, Black, white, Spanish, whatever. And it's on YouTube if they happen to miss it.
Yes.
Okay, and you can also subscribe. This is so very, very important. I'm happy once again. I know I'm redundant, but I'm happy that you brought this information to our community. So please tell us about the blood drive now, and then we'll do it again before the show.
Great. Well,
Okay.
Thank you so much for giving me an opportunity. That's one of the reasons why I'm here in the Bridgeport community. I really want to, stress that we're having a blood drive called Bridgeport Stand Up. In urban communities, people tend to understand when somebody calls your city name first and asks you to stand up. It's really wanting you to represent your city. So I'm going to show you the flyer and just speak about it. We do have a QR code embedded, and Ms. Lambert will have this on her YouTube and Facebook for everybody to post and repost. But Bridgeport Stand Up is really about calling the community in Bridgeport to the mission. And the mission is to come and roll up your sleeve and donate for those people who are suffering from sickle cell disease. Once again, it's not just a Black disease, so we welcome all ethnicities. But we definitely want people from African American and African descent to show up and donate blood on behalf of those who are suffering from sickle cell disease. So next Wednesday from 8:30 to 6, we have partnered with Total Mortgage Arena, the mayor and his affiliates, and the whole governmental outreach, if you will, in the Bridgeport community to make sure this drive happens. I do want to mention some promotions that have come along with coming to donate. First of all, you'll receive a sickle cell t-shirt, a $20 gift card courtesy of Amazon, coupons for free haircut to Sports Clips, 2 entries to see Little Trey and other artists at the arena on the 23rd, 4 tickets to see Bridgeport Island hockey team in the arena, plus an entry into a VIP experience at 2024 NASCAR Cup Series and Xfinity races at Darlington Raceway, which includes round-trip airfare to South Carolina, up to 3-night hotel stay.
Oh, wow.
Entry into Sport Clips racetrack hospitality tent, plus a $1,000 gift card for expenses. So you're entered into that and you get all those promotions. I also would be remiss if I didn't mention our community partners, and they're a long list, so please bear with me. But we are partnering with Fairfield County Alumni Chapter of Delta Sigma Theta, Bridgeport Hospital, Yale New Haven, Juneteenth of Fairfield County, Bridgeport OIC, City of Bridgeport Health Department, Garden of Soul, Optimus Health, Southwest Community Health Center, Zabona, AME Zion Church, you know Zabona,
Yes.
Pinch of Salt, Good Nurse RN, Recovery Network, New England Donor Services, Bridgeport Kings, Golden Hill Methodist Church, Triumphant Church, Southern CT Black Chamber of Commerce, NL Light and Solutions, Red Cross Disaster Services, Red Cross Volunteer Services, and Red Cross Armed Forces. So we're calling everyone to come out and support our blood drive next Wednesday. Once again, 8:30 to 6 at Total Mortgage Arena. Bridgeport Stand Up was a slogan to say, Bridgeport, you care about your community, you care about your brother and your sister. Show that by coming out. We're also going to have vendors there that you can get health information and information about services they provide. So please come out and support us, and not just come and look and see what's going on. Come and donate to help people stay alive.
Exactly, and there is, a lot of incentives. Did you guys hear about the Amazon card? Because everybody's on Amazon.
Exactly.
They throw up in my driveway every day,
Yes.
just about.
Yes.
And you could help save a life.
That's what it's about.
It takes a community, and
Right.
this is what we need. And it doesn't cost you anything.
Correct.
This is your opportunity to give back
Correct.
to our community.
Right.
And it won't cost you anything at all. I'm going to be there.
Ms. Lambert, I got a
I
question for
definitely will be there. He's put me on the
Well,
spot. Don't
no,
put me on
not-
the
not
spot
a question.
now.
It's a question actually for everyone. And
Okay.
I say this all the time. I kind of coined this question at high schools and colleges because a lot of people don't know what sickle cell disease is about. There's a lot of misnomers and people think it's just a black disease, and I think we've covered that. Don't want to get really technical. But because it does affect more people who have from African descent, secondarily other classes, Latinos included. But when you say 1 out of 365 versus 1 out of 16,300, you can see the reason why we're trying to focus on African American donors. We don't have the cure, but we have the closely related blood transfusion that a person's going to need when they're suffering from sickle cell disease. So when someone presents at the hospital and they're in full-blown sickle cell crisis, that means they show up at the hospital sometimes curled up and can't function. A lot of times the hospitalists think they're drug seeking because they don't understand the disease, or don't have a profile on that patient. So when that patient presents, and here's the trick question that I ask people, it's very, very simple, but 50% of people get it wrong. Where is blood in the body?
Where is blood in the body? It's everywhere.
Correct.
Because when I get cut on my leg, my finger, my face, there's blood. I bleed.
Exactly. But as you see how you stalled to answer, most people
I thought it was a trick question.
It almost sounds like a trick question.
It does.
A lot of people tend to say the heart, the lungs, they're thinking about an organ. And I'll ask you again, where is blood in the body?
It's everywhere.
Everywhere.
The heart pumps the blood.
Exactly.
right?
So earlier when I explained what happens in sickle cell, those blood cells become diseased, and then they become hard and sickle or crescent shaped. They can no longer flow through the body freely to deliver oxygen and blood to the organs. Therefore, the organs start to shut down. So imagine a person who has blood everywhere. Everybody does, right? And that person is crimped up, can't breathe, organs are shutting down. They don't know what's going on with them. Remember I mentioned 70% of the people we've already screened didn't even know they had sickle cell trait, not the full-blown disease. So imagine you have something going on with you and you just kind of brush it off. I'm from the South. I know there's a lot of prideful men in the South, prideful men in the communities, and I'm not going to the doctor. You drink some water, sleep, or pray on it. It's not going to go away. This is an inherent disease. So the people who have sickle cell trait that turns into sickle cell disease are in pain everywhere. Wow. You can't take an aspirin, you can't sleep, and get this to go away. And they need constant transfusions, sometimes as much as 100 units per patient per year to stay alive. So the secondary question I asked you is not a trick question, but it's really a statement. But it's a question it's a rhetorical statement, really a question that I ask high schoolers and college people all the time to build the culture. When's the last time you've been able to help somebody stay alive? And when's the last time you helped keep somebody from dying? Poignant questions, right?
Well, yeah, those are tough questions. I am a Medicare insurance agent, so I help people get the insurance they need to get medication
Exactly.
to keep them alive.
Right.
So, I mean, I could answer that question, based on that, but like physically keeping someone alive, I never.
Right, and that's what sickle cell patients go through.
And this is what you'll have the opportunity to do if you donate blood.
Correct. Help a person. The whole thing with you work in the health arena, it's all about quality of life.
Yeah.
And that's what we're trying to purport is like, listen, this is not a cure unless you're going to have stem cells, unless you're going to have, gene therapy, some type of blood organ transfer, things of that nature. Those are not readily available. Transfusions are the most important because it allows you to go to a blood drive, donate blood, it be screened. If it comes out that you have sickle cell trait, you'll be notified via email and a letter, and then you can follow up with your internal medicine doctor and the Sickle Cell Disease Association to have a secondary test to make sure that it's correct. But you will never know. We've done 130,000 screenings because of our blood drive and the Sickle Cell Initiative. 70% of those people did not even know they had the trait. So people are walking around and have no idea they had the trait. Once again, it doesn't mean it will turn into the disease, but I would like to know.
Yeah, I would like to know too. And if you have the trait, can you still use the blood or no?
Yes, you can.
Okay.
Yes, you can.
So, all right.
Yes,
So
you can.
even if you have the trait, you can use the blood. Because I'll be honest, I don't know if I have the trait, and I want to come to the blood drive on September 13th. Even though I don't know, and I'm going to donate blood. I want to make sure that you're going to be able to use it.
Right.
And I'm not wasting my time.
Yeah. Well,
Wow.
I'll tell you a few things that you'll find out.
Oh my
first.
goodness, this is
Phenomenal,
incredible.
right?
Oh.
And so just by coming and doing a productive blood donation, that means you show up and you get through all the health screening, okay? You'll find out your blood type. A lot of people don't know their blood type. You'll find out if you have sickle cell trait or not. And if you don't, it'll be a normal blood donation that you can help somebody stay alive. Not only sickle cell. So I want to make sure people understand also the importance of Black donors and African American donors. 51% of the people who donate who are African American, Black, or multiracial, right? 51% are O in the O class. Either O negative, which are universal donors,
type O,
blood type
okay.
O, or O positive, which are the majority of the community that are out there.
And you could use that in any...
Exactly.
Oh,
Those are
okay.
essential emergency procedures, cancer procedures, leukemia,
Yep.
severe procedures. So once again, not just sickle cell, African American and Black donors make up 51% of that O class. So we need more donors to show up, not just for sickle cell, but for the general population to help everyone.
I believe that.
And
I believe that is true. And, speaking from a place of experience, one of my family members, my brother-in-law,
Okay.
got a blood transfusion this morning.
Wow, I'm sorry.
And it had nothing to do with sickle cell, to the best of my knowledge.
Right, okay.
He's having liver issues and, heart issues and
understand.
things like that. So this blood transfusion pretty much saved his life and allowed the hospital to I guess do more tests on him. He got stronger because he needed blood.
That's
And
very
so
important.
it's so, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
it's okay.
It's just so vitally important that you come down to the arena on September 13th and donate blood. And the next time somebody asks you, when was the last time you saved somebody's life? You can say September 13th.
Ooh, I like that. I like
That's
that.
what I'm going to say.
Yeah, or help somebody stay alive. When you think about it,
Yes.
somebody who's suffering from sickle cell disease, imagine from 5-6 years old to being older.
Yeah.
There's a 40% decline in health disparities for people who suffer from sickle cell.
Exactly.
So what that means is, I'm not going to use a hard number, they live 40% less. So the average age is 40% less than the average, African American. Now we already have the highest mortality and the highest death rate already as a minority. Now, if you have sickle cell, you have a triple whammy.
Exactly.
And so
exactly.
it's not anything to, it's a serious disease.
Yeah, it is. And I told you earlier, my little cousin had sickle cell.
Okay.
And this was in the 70s.
Did he have the trait or the disease?
He had the disease. He
Okay.
died. He died.
Wow, I'm sorry to
So
hear that. I am sorry
what
to hear that.
happened with him, we didn't know what was going on. We were kids. It was in the 70s.
Right.
And he had a big afro because, everybody, all the black people had afros in the 70s.
Right.
And his afro just got thinner and thinner and thinner where you could see through it. And then he became bald like an 80-year-old man. And then he just he died.
Wow.
But we didn't know, we didn't have the information in the 70s that we obviously have now.
Right.
But he had sickle cell. That's what we found out later on. And that's how it affected him. And he got real skinnier and skinnier and he just kind of shriveled up.
Yeah.
And, he died.
I'm sorry to hear that. When blood can't be delivered to the organs,
Yeah.
blood and oxygen, what happens is the organs become compromised. Once again, I mentioned that you can have anemia, you can have severe pain, tissue,
Exactly.
organ damage, strokes, and if not tended to, it can lead to death. So when I say that Bridgeport Stand Up was about calling the people in Bridgeport to come stand up for your community, to make sure that you understand that it's important for everyone to come out if you really care. I'm not saying this in a disrespectful way, but I know you care about your mankind.
Your neighbor.
Right? And quite often, we distrust people, right? There's a history that we're not going to speak about today that has been overcome. Technology is here, and we are the science. We're walking science. We can actually show up, roll up our sleeves, donate blood, and help people who are suffering from sickle cell disease stay alive. So I'm urging everybody to show up Wednesday, September 13th, 8:30 to 6 at Total Mortgage Arena. Come have a great day with us, donate blood to help people stay alive with sickle cell disease. We urge you.
I demand it now. And if you,
Hey, we'll take that too.
we have to, if we're going to ever do anything worth anything, now is the time. There is no tomorrow.
Yes.
September 13th, we need as many bodies as possible. Is there an age limit? Do you have to be 18 or?
Well, we take people as young as 16 with a parental permission slip.
Okay.
We can print it on site, but we prefer, to make it seamless. 17 with an ID. All you need is a driver's license, a donor card, or the app that's provided through American Red Cross. So
Wonderful.
you can get the app. And simply, all you need to do is go to www.redcrossblood.org. When in the search window, put in Bridgeport, and the blood drive will pop up. You simply select a time, create your profile simply by in first name, last name, email, phone number, and you will lock in your time. Right now, we only have 25 registered donors, and we're trying to get 200. So we're in a desperate call for help to make sure this is a successful program that we can continue every single year. So please show up and help us. September 13th, 8:30 to 6, Total Mortgage Arena.
I don't know how much time. I think we have 30 seconds left, but I want to thank you so much for bringing this information to our community. I'm going to share with everybody I know. I'm going to share with all of my organizations. And I think we have 30 seconds left, so I'll give the last 30 seconds to you once again. What would you like to end this with?
Well, once again, I want to thank Ms. Lambert for inviting me to this forum and platform to really share information about sickle cell disease. It's important that people know the facts, and it's not just a black disease. We're calling all African American and black donors, as well as others, to come out and donate to show your support, not only for sickle cell, but the general donation process. We thank you so much for this time. Please come out September 13th, 8:30 to 6, Total Mortgage Arena. We look forward to seeing you. Roll up your sleeves, donate. Bridgeport
blood.
Stand Up. Bridgeport Stand Up.
And follow us on YouTube. Thank you again. This is the David Goodman Reality and Truth Show, and we're on your side.